Welcome to Core London. Today we're joined by Nelius De Groot, the CEO of Emporium Trading. Welcome, Nelius. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Catherine.
Can you start by giving us an overview of what it is that you do?
Sure. Emporium's a technology company, but what we're about is we're about event-driven marketing.
Right.
So if you think about advertising campaigns, people have been focused for a long time on the who, so the audience,
Right.
the what, the message, and the where, the channels. But nobody's really focused on the component of time, when. So if you bring those four things together, it's about getting the right message to the right audience on the right channels at the right time. And we bring that time component into play.
And can you tell us a little bit about your impact technology?
Sure. So Impact basically uses signals from real-world events to drive advertising campaigns. So those signals could be a goal in a football game, it could be an influencer posting a tweet, it could be something happening on a TV show where someone mentions a product. It could be something in the news. So there's a whole range of signals that influence consumer behavior. And what Impact does is it enables brands and agencies to take advantage of those signals in driving their campaigns.
Are these what Google defines as micro-moments?
Yeah, there's been a huge amount of study. Google started it about micro-moments, and then obviously Facebook took it on as well, and now people just talk about moments. And it's interesting because micro-moments are important, but moments genuinely come in all shapes and sizes. So some of them are micro, they're very short in terms of duration. Some of them can take quite a long time. But one of the other things that's really important about moments and signals is that those moments curate audiences. So for a very simple example, if you think about an influencer will have a certain audience. A TV show will have a certain audience. Certain people will be watching a specific sports event. So that curates an audience for you, and you're able to take advantage of that.
Right. And your technology identifies those moments?
Yes, we identify the relationship between those moments and consumer behavior. Some moments increase the activity that consumers have with a brand. Some of it decreases. News isn't always positive. And what we enable, our technology enables our clients to do is take advantage of those moments by driving their campaigns.
Can you tell us about current trends in your industry?
Well, I think the advertising industry is undergoing significant disruption at the moment. The overall model is being challenged. And I think there's the wealth of information out there about how the agency model is playing out. The agencies are reinventing themselves. There's been news over the last 24 hours about some of the consultancies moving into the space. And there's constant stories about brands taking back their advertising campaigns in-house. What we're about really is making sure that we sit across the various advertising venues, the Googles, the Facebooks, the Amazons, the Twitters, etc. And we allow people to optimize their campaigns across those individual advertising venues. So we're venue agnostic. And we believe that if we can enable all of the parties who are advertising to prosper by using signals and moments, that it will be good for our business. Our technology enables them to do that.
Can you tell us about Emporium X and how that's driving revenues?
Sure. So in our core business was with agencies and agency networks, as I spoke about. Back in November, we announced Emporium X, which is a performance-focused division. And really, if you think about it in two pieces, one is around consumer regulation, and the trading announcement we had today speaks at length about the performance that we've been driving out of consumer regulation. But the second piece is sports. And sports is a really interesting sector. Sports signals, sports events have a very wide and global audience. And we've been really focused on optimizing for sports rights holders up until now. But there are a whole range of different clients in the sports space that we think we can work with.
Can you tell us a little bit more about consumer regulation and how that's a growth area?
Yeah, I think consumer regulation is really interesting because up until now, people have been very focused. If you buy goods and they're faulty, you're going to get a refund. But if you buy services and they don't perform in the way that you expect, there's an awful lot of friction in terms of getting your money back. And whether that's missold or whether it's a flight that's delayed, it hasn't been a seamless process up until now. I think consumers have become more aware of their rights. I think regulators are becoming more aggressive in terms of ensuring that consumers get their rights. And corporates are forced to start to deliver in a more effective way. And what we're about, and our sweet spot really, is delivering high-value lead generation for people who are in the consumer regulation space. So we see it as a real growth sector for us.
Definitely sounds like it. And finally, to finish us off, what are your plans for the future?
Well, really, we're very proud of the announcement we put out today. We think it shows very significant growth, and it's to continue that trajectory. I think that the pieces that we've spoken about, certainly with consumer regulation, with our agency relationships, growth in sport, and I guess the other dimension which I would just bring into it is that we accumulate a wealth of data and knowledge about how signals and moments affect consumer behavior, and we're beginning to monetize that component as well.
Nelius, thank you very much for joining us today. That's all we've got time for, but join us again on Core London for more CEO interviews.